rephrase that.
WordPress is like kindergarten stuff. I mean, I built like my first website in like 2007. I was like 10.
I was gonna help with the forum and then got roped into running, so now I can't help him because he's impartial and the ethical dilemma of it.
Everybody can find your seat, please.
That's, you know what I mean?
All right, well, if you want to use the back and all these papers. Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order. If everybody could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. We do have a quorum. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Seconded.
Okay. Okay, then we will go directly to Captain McCool.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. Wake up, Ron.
All right, so I will be covering the Community Crime Report. The dates of this report are March 5th to April 5th. Now it's comparing 2025 to 2026. The top 3 calls for service, the 1 spot and 2 spot remain the same, with suspicious incidents being in the 1 spot, check on subjects being in the 2 spot. Number 3 was alarm calls last year, animal complaints this year. Our total calls for service increased 3%, and our total crashes went from 30 last year to 32. So that's an increase of 7%. Our serious crimes, this part 1 crimes that we always talk about, homicide 0 last year, we had 1 this year. That was this past weekend. Y'all may have seen that or heard of it on our social media. 0 rapes, 25 and 26, 0 robberies. Assaults went from 3 to 1, so that was a decrease. No burglaries, 0 and 0 across the board for the 2 years. Thefts went from 29 to 28, 1 less. Auto thefts from 2 to 1. Non-fatal overdoses, we had 1. We had 1. That stayed the same, and then 0 fatal overdoses. Our school bus violations that I always talk about. In March of 2025, there were 618 confirmed school bus violations. March of this year, there was 458. So there's a decrease. Now that's countywide. That's not just that's not just the Edgewood Joppatowne community. That's their countywide stats. The one other thing I wanted to talk about, we have on May the 2nd, it's at 3520 Woodsdale Road, the movie night for the Sheriff's Office, Zootopia 2. Free Sheriff's Office blanket, hot dogs, hamburgers, and bottle of water. Starts at 6:45 on May 2nd. I don't know what the rain date is, if there is one or not, but if it does, if there's poor weather, it'll be announced on social media. And that is what I have for the Community Crime Report. Are there any questions?
Give us a little more detail on the murder that happened in Edgewood, and wasn't 2 people, another person shot the different guy, or what's the other circumstance?
Yes, so there were 2 people shot. We received a call and responded to Grenville Way, where we found the first victim who was shot. Non-life-threatening injuries. The second subject was found 1900 block of Eloise with appeared to be, and I think it was confirmed, a single shot to the chest, and he did not make it. It's an ongoing investigation, so I can't talk too much about it. What we do know are the parties knew each other. It wasn't a random act of violence. It was a known dispute, whatever. I'm unsure of the exact circumstances surrounding it, but it's ongoing, and our CID is investigating and I think they have a pretty good idea of the situation.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yep.
Before we get to our guest speaker, I just want to introduce ourselves to everybody. Adam?
I'm Adam, and I have 2 friends learning how to do a live stream tonight. So hopefully in 2 months I get to go on vacation and you don't have to deal with me. Oh, and I am also appointing myself as the timekeeper tonight in Ralph's absence.
Oh, good.
And I'm meaner than Ralph is.
No, you're not.
Jansen Robinson. I'm Jansen Robinson, co-chair of the ECAP, EJAP.
Oh, he jumped.
Oh.
Yeah.
EJ cab, EJ. Gloria Moon, I live in Joppa on the other side of 95.
I'm Paula Mullis, I'm your chair.
Melissa DeRisca, Edgewood.
And nice enough to be taking minutes tonight, because.
Don't mind my phone, I'll have a pen.
All right, so I'm really pleased to introduce our guest speaker this evening. And I think that you're gonna learn a lot of things that you did not know. And you're gonna find them extremely interesting. So I'd like to introduce Michelle Krasinski. She is the clerk of the court of Harford County.
Thank you very much.
Where's the podium right up here?
I'm gonna bring all my goodies with me. I brought one of our historical books from the 1800s with me today.
Am I still in there?
I don't know, were you part of the county council back then? Was the county commissioners? Okay, well then, no. Okay. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to speak. I just want to real quick introduce myself. You know my name is Michelle Karczeski. I was elected in 2022, but I moved here from Baltimore City in 1977, graduated from Falston High School, graduated from Frostburg State University with a degree in cartography and urban planning. So I'm a map maker by trade. That's actually when you used to hand draw everything. So that was kind of interesting. Became a military geographer for the Department of Defense, for Defense Intelligence Agency. Did that for about 10 years. And then just did a number of different things, but I started working with the Maryland courts and decided I wanted to be clerk of court, and so here I am. So, I wanted to tell you a little bit about our office. So our office is, we have, it's broken basically into 2 parts. We have our case management side of the clerk's office, which takes care of all the docketing and support for the judges, for all criminal cases, juvenile cases, paternity, guardianship, family and civil services, so that would be family and civil, as well as our courtroom clerks, which support the judges. Okay, so that's all on our case management side. On our non-case side, we have accounting and operations. Okay, we also have my chief deputy, which her name is Kim Wagner. She does HR and that type of thing. But we also have on that side our land records department, so all of your land record recordings, your marriage certificates. So if you're going to get married and you need a marriage license, you come into our office. If you want to have a civil ceremony, we have a new office at 24 Office Street. It's directly across the street from the courthouse. So we had a space that we worked with someone and we renovated. So now it's beautiful. We have a little chapel in there. We can fit up to 25 people, where before we could only have 10. It's a really nice space. So that's for our licensing department. We also take care of notary certifications. If you have to do your oath for your notary, you would come to our office. We are also now a passport acceptance facility, so we can issue passports. That's a new service that I put in place when I got there. So we do a lot of different things. So if you've ever been married here in Harford County, you had to come to our office. If you have purchased property and you have your deed on record, that's through our office. Okay, so we have approximately 53 employees with around a $5 million budget. Okay, now keep in mind we are a state agency. Okay, the clerk's office is a state agency. We reside in the courthouse, and we pay rent to be there. It's in the Maryland Constitution. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that. They think that we're a county office. but we're not, okay? So we support all the citizens in all of those different functions, and I have a bunch of different statistics and things like that that I can go over with you. I know I have a very limited amount of time, so I'm going to talk really fast, and I'm going to spit out a bunch of stuff. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about some of our volume. So on the case management side, we have filings come in a couple different ways, right? We have a lot of people come into the circuit court that want to file a case or file a complaint or different things like that. We have the self-help center, which is down on level A in the courthouse for family matters. So if you're a pro se litigant, okay, not represented by an attorney, you can go down to the self-help center and they can help you explain the process. You can fill out paperwork, that type of thing. Okay, so they're there to help you. It's one of the busiest self-help centers, okay, in the state, okay, for family matters. So they're very busy. They're really good people down there, and they can help you. They'll help you with your forms. Then you'll bring them upstairs to the main level of the circuit court. Half of the circuit court on one side is the clerk's office. On the other side is the state's attorney's office. Okay, so when you come in, you'll go through security, and then we have a criminal counter in the back. We have a family and civil services counter in the back, and then we have our land records counter. Okay, so like I was saying, people come and they provide their filings over the counter, but most everything now is becoming digital, obviously, right? Electronic filings. Our electronic filings year over year are increasing at a rate of about 5%. Okay, last year we did over 85,000 documents processed in our family and civil services department alone. Okay, so I have about 11 people that work in that department. That's my largest department. So it's a very, very busy place. Also, we're going to switch gears a little bit and go to our non-case side. The number of business licenses that we issued, I'll give you some statistics from 2025, are 2,869 business licenses. Now, the clerk's office used to be part of the comptroller's office, okay, until 1991. Then we left the comptroller and then became part of the administrative office of the courts in the Maryland Judiciary. Okay, so now our budget is provided to us from the Maryland Judiciary, our back office and support services, our IT, everything is provided to us through the Maryland Judiciary. Okay, so basically my judge is Chief Justice Fader of the Supreme Court. Okay, so between him and you all who put me in office, that's how I stay there. Okay, okay, so let's see, marriage licenses. 1,493 in 2025. Civil ceremonies, 636. Sometimes we'll do between 6 and 9 ceremonies a day. Okay. They only take about 15 minutes. They are $25. Best deal going. Best deal going. They're like, why don't you increase the price? I'm like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to increase the price? Let's just keep it how it is. But one thing about the money that we collect, we basically are kind of like a broker, all right? People pay us for the different fees, for the different things like marriage licenses and civil ceremonies and things like that. Our licenses are $50, okay? So for $75, you can get a license. You have to wait 2.5 days before you can schedule a ceremony. Okay, that's old school. That's just how it is in the law. Okay, it was kind of like a sobering up period. That's what they joke around all the time, you know. We want to get married. Sure you do. Just give us 2.5 days and come on back. Okay. So that's a little thing. So they come in and we do. I would say on special event days like May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Okay, or Halloween or Valentine's Day, we get a list. And we'll try to accommodate as many as we can, even if we have to squeeze people in. Okay, we had Christmas Eve, right? Well, if you know, the state closed the clerk's office early at 2 p.m. on Christmas Eve, but we had civil ceremony scheduled. So my chief deputy and I, we stayed, we let everybody else go home, and we took care of it, okay? Because, I mean, people had little ornaments with the date on it already, and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't gonna cancel just because the state closed our office, right? So what I like about that is that I have the capability that even though we're a state office, I wanted to have a hometown feel. That's important to me, okay? So that's one of those things that we could do. Let's see, land instruments recorded 26,707. Our land record instruments, we had the most we've ever had during COVID. The interest rates were so low, everybody was refinancing, so all those things were being put on record. So we had 51,000 documents that were processed, and pretty much on time with our staff that we had to rotate in and out of the office, okay? And then the next year, it was the lowest we've ever had, 23,000, okay, because everyone was like, pump the brakes. And now that's starting to increase about 5% each year, okay? So we're kind of going back up. Notaries, 587, passports, 47, but that could be, we would get a family of 5, and they all need passports. So if you have a large family and you want to come in and do passports, make an appointment. Okay, so we just ask you to make an appointment for larger groups, okay? Land record recordings, we had almost 13 million, and licensing on the cashiering side for our licensing department about 600,000 as far as a revenue intake, okay? But one thing that people don't realize is in our licensing department, the money that we take in, okay, we keep 5%, and the rest of it is divvied out to the community. SARC gets part of that money. The Historical Society of Harford County gets part of that money. The county gets part of that money for spousal abuse programs. Okay, so that money, that's why I said we're kind of like a broker. The money comes in, but at the end of the month, I'm signing all those disbursement letters to send the money out to all those programs. Okay, so it's really, really great. Somebody's got to keep me on time, so make sure I don't go over, okay? Give me a 5-minute warning.
You get more time than other people get.
Oh, perfect.
I'm nicer to you than other people.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, I just want to make sure, I don't want to take advantage of it, okay. Okay, so, since being in office, we implemented the digital business license system where people could get their business licenses online. So we went from 2024, where we had about 1,200 online payments and about 1,800 over the counter or mail-in payments. Now we have 1,900 online payments and about 1,300 over-the-counter paper payments. So everything is going digital. Let's see, we talked about land records. One of the things I wanted to bring to your attention is this recording your DD-214. Okay, so we have a very heavy, obviously, military presence here in Harford County. Okay, and so we have a program where if you have a DD-214, you could bring it into our office and record it in our land records department for free. Now, those are not public record. They have your social security number on them and things like that. We take that very seriously, okay, and we protect that, okay, but this is a program, and this is available online, but also these brochures, okay, and so you can record your DD-214 in every county and Baltimore City in the Land Records Department for free, okay, you put it in there for free, and you can come and get certified copies anytime you need to for free, okay, which is huge. You don't know how many stories where my heart breaks when somebody comes in and says, I'm looking for my DD-214. I've been working with DC and I've been trying to get it for the last year, and I'm trying to get a loan, and I'm going to lose the house I want to buy. And I'm like, oh God, I don't know what to tell you. Or families come in because they want to have special burial ceremonies for their loved ones, and they can't because they can't find the paperwork. So it's really, really important. Of anybody you know, you can tell them about this. Yes, ma'am.
Could you explain what the DD-214 is?
So those are your discharge papers.
Military discharge.
Military discharge papers. So the DD-214 is the form number, right?
Yes.
So it's Department of Defense 214. Okay, so that's what that is. So basically what it says is it shows proof that you were in the military, and you know what you did, and your tour duty, and your discharge date, all that information. So it's proof.
Thank you.
Yes. Tony?
can you do it for a deceased person as well? Like my father, we needed that, we had a hard time finding it. Will you guys do it for, if we had the power of the attorney or whatever, or the, you're the estate, can you take it and give it to you?
And put it
if
on
you
the-
need that in
on-
the future?
That's a really good question. If
Is
you
it?
have the, well, let's see, power of attorney is only in effect when the person is alive.
Well, whatever you get when somebody passes away, I don't know
Like
what that.
their death certificate?
Yeah, exactly.
Death certificate?
But we needed the DD too, and
Uh-huh.
we found it, but it was hard, but that would be a great thing if it's there.
Right, and there's affidavit forms and things like that, and special permissions for family members, and so there's all kinds of rules associated with this, okay, as to who can get it, so, but all the information is in here. So I have my people at the Land Records Department that are well versed in this, okay, and it's on our website as well, okay, yes.
There's an online question asking if you do passport cards as well, or is it just the passport?
Passport and passport cards, it's all new, so not renewals. And what happens is you just come in and we go through all your paperwork. Okay, so we're basically an accepted agents. So we're taking your information and we're sending it down to DC to get it taken care of.
And which address would they go to for that?
24 Office Street.
Thank you.
Yes, and you can look at it online if you go to mdcourts.gov, and then you can kind of drill down and go to Harford County, go to Circuit Court, and then you'll see all of our different departments. We have tons of information online.
Well, the DD2 you want just the last one, basically, so I got several of them, but if we record the last one, it's got your total time on it
Correct.
and things like that.
Right, but if you can't find the last one, and you have other ones, you can bring,
I happen to know where it is, but.
Okay, well, great, you can do them all.
I got records.
Yeah.
Look up, but,
Okay.
do we need an appointment to come in to do this or no?
No, just walk in. Just walk into our Land Records Department, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. Yeah?
Last time I did my passports, I was able to do it, and get them redone up at the post office in Bel Air. Is
Yep.
that still doable?
Yep, post office, the library, the Harford County Library, they do it as well. But what happens
But
is,
not all the post offices.
correct, not all the post offices, but when the post office runs into problems and they can't get it done, they send them to us. Yes,
Just a point of reference for the DD 214, the spouse and their children are entitled to services and benefits on that, and if they don't have a copy of it, so this will be a great benefit for them to be able to come and get a copy.
it really, really is. I just can't tell you how important this is. So that's why I wanted to bring that today, to kind of let you know about that.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Because I had this happen to my mom-in-law, when my father-in-law passed away. They don't, maybe it's not your department, maybe it's the federal department that has to do it, but, when the veteran passes away, they never notify the spouse of the veteran who passed away about what benefits they had. Other words, my mother-in-law was entitled to almost $1,500 a month
Sure.
after my father-in-law passed away,
Yeah.
but didn't find out about it until 9 months later.
Yep.
And that's only because a friend of mine told me, your mother-in-law needs to be getting
Right.
this benefit. And
it-
they don't make it, the other bad thing about that, they don't make it retroactive. So she lost
Right.
somewhere, by the time she did, it might have been longer than that, but
Yeah.
I know she lost $100,000
yeah.
that she should have gotten.
It can be, and they have a veterans fair around Veterans Day at the Armory in downtown Bel Air, and we have a table there. But also, over at the base, they do a bunch of things, and they usually have a benefits person that's associated with that at those fairs for that reason.
But what would it take there to be a law? I don't know if it's gotta be federal law or state law, county law,
Yeah, I'm not
to
really
make
sure.
them notify the spouse when the veteran dies, their benefits that they have.
And I'm not really sure, obviously, that's more like the Veterans Affairs and things like that, that would be, or, our legislators, to take a look at that, so that's something that, but yeah.
I'm on the Veterans Fair Commission, I'll get information from.
There you go, talk to Tony.
There you go.
There's
Yes,
also an advocacy office for spouses and dependents
up at MBA, right here. There's a veterans, they help you with all the paperwork for any benefits a spouse or a dependent person should get.
I know they can help, but unless the spouse of the passing veteran knows about the benefit, you know, they have to come and
That's
initiate
right.
it. And she didn't
VA
initiate,
is
she
not
didn't
very
know
good
it.
about that, you're right.
Yeah.
The VA is
That's
not
right.
good about giving
Exactly.
information
Right.
out.
Maybe I need to bring these over there so that they can have them.
That would be good.
Yeah, I think that would, see, that's just one of those community collaboration type things that we like to do, like get this information out so people know. Last thing, because I know we're running out of time. I brought today with me one of our books. We are responsible for our historical collections, okay? And so we have collections back to the 1700s, okay? So this one here is from the 1800s, okay? And these are the minutes from the county commissioners. And this one, let's see here, President, 1853, okay? So it's just super, super interesting what we do. We have our marriage records. The first book we have is 1777 for our marriage records, okay? So that is the only time in a person's history that they actually would potentially sign their name. You know, they couldn't have property, they couldn't do contracts, they couldn't, you know, back in the 1700s, right? So it's super, super interesting. Lots of genealogy, we get a lot of questions. We did a partnership with the Historical Society, and we could not find our books from book 1 through book 19. Okay, so we went down to the Historical Society to do a tour, and I looked down and I'm like, there's our books. 1 through 19 that they had been gifted to the Historical Society because they didn't have retention rules back then. We have a whole guideline of retention rules of the information that we have to save and how we have to save it. So I said, okay, if you give us those books, okay, I will restore the binding on all of them and digitize them and give them back to you. Okay, $75,000. Okay, and that's what we did. But now we have a digital copy to complete our collection, and we are preserving our legacy in Harford County.
So you said that what you were showing is minutes?
Yeah, from the commissioners, county commissioners in the 1800s.
There you go, Melissa.
So they have like meetings?
Yeah, they had meetings and they had books and they had, yeah, yep, that's what this is.
Have you digitized all of them?
No, we have not. So one of the things that I did when I first got there was did an inventory of all of our collections and what system they were in and what format they're in. So we're doing a lot of things with divorce decrees and our marriage records. The marriage project's huge, huge. To get all of that stuff digitized and get it indexed. Okay, so you can scan a piece of paper, but how are you going to find it unless you have some sort of index where you can search by a person's name? Okay, so I have my people doing that. Yeah, so we're doing that. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work. So, but it's really cool, and I take it very seriously. So anyway, so I want to thank you for your time and
We got questions.
Okay. Oh, more questions. Okay, here we go.
Comment and a question.
Okay.
First of all, I am thrilled at the fact that you are leading forward. You're looking at how we can make use of technology, today's technology, to make things better for the community.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Second thing is, well, I want to say this to all of you elected officials: take note.
Really?
Yeah. Secondly, I want to. I've been reading about attempts to steal deeds or
Yeah, let's talk about that.
yeah.
Yeah, deed fraud.
Yeah, deed
It's
fraud.
a big thing. Okay, we had in Worcester County in Ocean Pines, we had someone buy a piece of property for $1 million cash. Okay, and that property wasn't for sale. Okay, now in Ocean Pines down in Ocean City, you're not allowed to put up for sale signs. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is, it was a cash buy. It was for a basically like a vacation or a resort property. Okay, vacant land, farmland, anything that does not have a mortgage. Okay, tend to be kind of like on the hit list, for our bad actors. Okay, so it is a thing, and it does happen in Maryland, and it has happened in Maryland. We've had a couple calls, and even in Harford County, you know, but this is the thing. The fraud already happens by the time it gets to my office, because we record the deed after the transaction has been done. So the cash has already exchanged hands. Okay, the money might already be who knows where by the time we get the document. Okay, but I'll tell you one of the things that we are doing. That's probably my alarm.
It is, but it's okay.
Okay. This year I'm the president of the Maryland Clerks Association. Okay, so basically, what we are working on with the Department of Judicial Information Systems is a land records notification system. Basically what this is as the public, you can register for free. Okay, you can register to say, I'm interested in this property, here's my tax ID number, blah, 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 that I'm interested in. Send me a text message or an email when there's any activity on this property. Okay, so we're gonna start with deeds and those types of real property transfer documents. Okay, but hopefully getting to the point that anything has a tax ID on it, you would get a notice, a blip. Okay, now, could someone that your neighbor is interested in what's happening on your property and they put in a subscription to get notification? Yeah, because it's public information. Land record, mdlandrec.net right now has your deeds all on record for the public to see for free right now. Okay, so I don't know if you knew that, but you can get on there and you can see that. You can do searching and all that kind of thing. So that's where this system will allow you to get a notification. It kind of almost closes the loop to quickly notify you. Okay, so that you can do something about it and get in touch with state's attorney's office or law enforcement and potentially do something about it and unravel it. Sorry, that's a long answer, but.
Okay. Tony?
Does that help with fraud where you always see people trying to steal your title if your house is paid off? Does that help with that, or is there any fall-safe system that you guys have for that?
It doesn't prevent that, no, because like I said, by the time it gets to us, by the time the paper comes across our desk, the money's already exchanged hands. It's done. The deed is done. Literally, the deed is done. You know, and then it gets to us. But what we can do is by that quick communication, it's not 6 months later where you don't have an option to try to unravel it. Okay, and they're going to say, oh, make sure you have title insurance. Title insurance is huge. You know, all those types of things. But that's just something that we feel like we can do. And we're working with their property records, you know, community and whatever, and we're in all these work groups to try to figure out what we can do. But that's one thing that we can do, and that's just closing the loop for communication so that you can try to unravel it. But that's going to be coming in 2027.
And I'm second, Melissa.
Quick question, Ms. Michelle.
Yeah.
So, as an entrepreneur or as business owners, I know that we're about to go into good standard season, where all of our businesses have to be in good standard.
Yep, for business licenses.
Yes, and that brought me to my next one. So, vendor's license. I used to go across the courthouse to get my business license, my vendor's license.
Yep. At 7 West Cortland?
Yes.
Now you walk around the corner and go to 24 Office Street.
24, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So also to let you know that the comptroller, I don't know if you know this, opened an office off of over by
Next to McDonald's.
Emerton Road, by
Next to the McDonald's.
next to McDonald's,
Plumtree
right.
Road.
It used to be Provident Bank back in the day. But anyway, so they opened up, and the people there are really nice. Our office went over, welcomed them, brought them brownies and cookies and all that kind of stuff, and said, "Welcome to Harford County. We're so happy you're here because we're going to be sending you all kinds of people." Okay, so so they're here now. So go see them. They're open.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you when you were talking about the title thing. So, were you involved at all? Because they did try and look at some of that with some of all this fraudulent stuff with the selling of the houses and the squatters and everything. What is your opinion on the best way to handle that? Because you had the people coming along you know, renting houses that are for sale or sitting empty.
Yeah.
So do you think counties like Harford should go to a practice where if someone knows they're gonna be away from their home for so many months, that they come to your office and register that so you have it there on the land record if something goes down, so they don't end up with that squatting situation? And then my second question is, are the agencies like Ancestry and stuff like that pull all of these records, do they give the states anything to help digitize the records? Because, you know, I know they do a lot of census records, but they also, sometimes you can access marriage licenses, because it seems like you need a lot more money for that.
Well, would they, let's start with that question, because when there's all different types of collections online for free, right? Other companies, other vendors, they do things like what they call screen scraping. They take information off the screen and then they upload it into their system, and, you know, they do those types of things, right? No one is paying us money for our collections, okay? But all of your marriage licenses you cannot get from the internet for Harford County. Okay, we don't have a mechanism right now for you to be able to log in and just do searching. Okay, that's one thing, that's one place that I would like to be able to get for genealogy and all the history type stuff. Okay, but we can't get that right now. We don't have that. Okay, and it would be only for records that are older, like 100 years and older. Okay, because I'm not going to give everybody's current marriage licenses out to anybody. Okay,
Right.
Because we have human trafficking. We have a lot of different things that we see come through our office. Okay, so we have to be really careful with the sharing of information. Oh, geez. There was a lot going on in your questions. Okay, but I don't think anybody can come to our office and register and say, hey, lock my title. Okay, we can't do that. Because we are not an enforcement agency. We are a recording office. Okay, we put everything into our collections and things like that, so we don't have the authority to do that. So we have to work within the limits of the law. Okay, the clerk's office, one thing, we do not give legal advice. We cannot. It is in the Maryland Constitution and the law that says I cannot give you legal advice. Okay, you know, we can probably talk a little bit more offline, but that's kind of where that is.
Yeah, I just feel so bad for those people, because that poor college professor that came home and the people were there in his house, and it's like.
Now this past or this current legislative session, there's a lot out there about that, about squatters and how to deal with them and how to get them out of your house and processes and all that kind of stuff. So I think everybody is hypersensitive to the fact that that's happening and trying to do things to try to get those people out and, you know, to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So
I guess my first question is about digitization.
Yep.
Do you have a projected timeline for when that might all be done? And then I'm assuming that would be available, you know, especially the historical stuff, like what's in your hand.
For what kind of records? For marriage? For case records?
I'm more interested in the actual history, the council minutes and stuff like that.
Okay.
For when that would be fully digitized.
Ooh,
digitized.
Digitized.
Yeah,
Digitized. There you go. Well, so I will just tell you one thing. Our family and civil services, our civil case records, okay, I have 5 years that are not digitized, 9,000 hours worth of scanning, just for one collection, for one department, okay?
So it'll be a while.
Yeah, a couple of years.
And then just, I guess to piggyback off of mine, what you were saying.
Yeah.
I understand you're not the enforcement agency. Would there potentially be a mechanism out there to kind of like, you know, have LifeLock, you know, I'm going on vacation, I want to make sure that my credit card works in Aruba or wherever I'm going.
Right,
so I call the credit card company.
I would love for them to have that.
To have something comparable for, you know, real property.
I hope that they develop something like that.
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my thing is, yeah, it's like, they keep going up on the state fees and stuff. It's like, I don't agree, I mean, I can't say I don't disagree with going up on someone, but make it make sense, make it help.
Good.
Yeah. Any suggestions you have, you can always send me an email too. Michelle.Karczeski@mdcourts.gov.
Thank
you. Okay.
I told you guys would learn a lot about what
Yeah.
Just be careful not to.
Cynthia Lynch, Harford County Council. We're getting ready to do the 2027 budget. The sessions will be on Thursday and Friday, April 23rd and 24th, and on Monday and Thursday, April 27th and April 30th. After that, there will be budget public hearings for you to come in and see and participate, and that will be Thursday, May 7th and Wednesday, May 13th. There'll also be a public hearing on April 7th on the resolution of our water and sewer master plan, and on April 14th about a transfer from the general fund for Maryland State Assessment and the Department of Education. Thank you, Cynthia.
Cynthia, are they gonna be, they're not gonna be broadcast, the work sessions, but are they gonna be online so you can listen to them?
I'll have to get back to you on that, I don't know.
There'll be audio. Yeah, all right, that's what it's usually. Yep. And the public's invited. All right, Rob Wagner, you're up.
Well, since our last CAB meeting, I usually try to take back what I hear here back to the departments that have to respond to it. It was brought up about the Willoughby Beach Road and Deerfield, in front of the Deerfield School, the red light there not functioning correctly, and DPW was looking into that. Drainage issues in Joppatowne was brought up, I believe, by Ralph, and if he can, or those in Joppatowne, if you can identify the outfalls that you're concerned about that are dumping from the roadways directly into the streams or into the waterways, let me know which ones they are, and DPW will go there and check out what's going on and maybe make some changes to it. But they said to respond back and let them know which areas we were talking about. Bus shelters are underway at the Edgewood Library and at the Harford Square Clubhouse. Those come in at $40,000 each. When you see the bus shelters out there with the glass panels, they're 40 grand, each one of them. We're working to start to get the work outside at Harford Square Clubhouse going, repurposing the tennis courts, the playground repairs, develop a new walk path, and that's all in conjunction with 755 Alliance working with us on that. If you go down 755, there are a couple signs there that we're looking to refresh. One of them is that Edgewood sign at Edgewood Meadows right on 755. It could use a little bit of cleaning up and sprucing up. And how many people here do I have that live in Joppatowne? So the Joppatowne signage that's right there past the Joppa Market when you first go in. Joppatowne, and there's two cedar trees or whatever they are there. I've been approached by, I know her name. They had a club that used to take care of all the trees and the flowers and all like that. They've all gotten older.
Garden club. It's the garden club.
Yeah, and they're no longer able to do that. So DPW, I mean, if I take the trees down, is anybody going to be upset? They're a little bit overgrown. They're probably 25, 30 years old. They're grown up a little overgrown. We're looking to take them down and probably do something else low growing that doesn't hinder your sight along the road and would look a little bit more appealing, because they're just.
And where exactly are those trees?
Right on, in Joppa Farm Road, right in the median strip, right there past
the post office.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Before Doncaster.
Before I told DPW to go take them down, I figured I'd better check before we start riding. So if anybody's got heartburn about it, let me know.
They're probably not here.
Probably not here, right. I'll hear about it after they come down. What are we doing?
What are you gonna replace it with?
Something smaller, doesn't require a lot of work, because obviously the garden club that used to take care of it won't be taking care of it any further. Looking for something else to do there. I mean, there's no use in, it's kind of like your home.
Right.
25, 30 years is the life of some of the shrubs and some of the trees. They get to a point where they've outlived the beauty.
Right.
They look like they're overgrown.
So now, when you replace them, will DPW continue to take care of whatever they put in?
No.
Okay.
No. Somebody else. In fact, we're looking for sponsorships for maybe some of the businesses to actually step up and sponsor that and do that.
Well, Quarter should
Carol,
love to help.
Carol, go ahead. Are you talking about the trees on the median when you first come into Joppatowne?
No.
No.
Past the post
There's a
office.
Past the post office.
Joppatowne sign that's right there, white, I believe it's white, block work right there on Joppa Farm Road after the post office. There's 2 cedar trees, it looks like type of trees. That's the one I'm talking
Right
about.
there where the median ends.
Yeah.
It ends right there.
Where Shore Drive is, right? Like where it first-
Yes.
Yeah.
Shore Drive's right here and the signage is right there.
And it's past your drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that next.
We are working with various summer camps. Instead of doing a separate summer camp like we did last year, Parks and Rec is doing their usual summer camp. There's not gonna be a separate one, but we are looking to, give some funding to some of the other, summer camps that are already in existence. And we're working on the Lake Serene Trail and the Cunyon Field Pathway. That's still ongoing, and it should be starting up in very near future. We're having a public Southern County Task Force update meeting that is scheduled on May 14th, 6 to 8:30 at the Edgewood Rec Center on Brookside. I know Bangtan will be talking about the boat races coming up May 16th through 17th at Flying Point Park. We've got a nonprofit resource fair that'll have many of the nonprofits there. It's City of God, that is 511 Edmond Street in Aberdeen on May 2nd from 10 to 1. I've got a multitude of flyers back there in the back that you're welcome to whatever you'd like to pick up there. And I know Cynthia mentioned the budget earlier. That budget will be available April 15th. In transit in Aberdeen, that grant was a little bit misrepresented. That grant, there's a lot of confusion about that one. It's not the situation as it was playing out. This is gonna be something that we're gonna eventually move the transit stop, transit depot, if you will, that we've got at Abington Road to the new site in Aberdeen. And it will actually be a much better location, a larger location, more central. This has been in the works for probably a year and a half. So don't believe everything you see out there, but it's all good. So if anybody's got anything for me, go ahead, Adam.
I've heard a few complaints recently about motorized bikes in the parks. I thought it was against the rules to have motorized anything in the parks, but I'm not sure because when I walk around Mariner Point Park, there's not signage anymore, and also Copenhagen Park took their signage down, so I don't know if that's the case anymore or not, but it is getting dangerous. I've seen children almost run over other children, and so it would be good to have some clarity as to what we're supposed to do with that.
Okay, I'll find out.
E-bike.
Okay. Yep, I'll get back.
Other questions?
What do you got?
Mr. Wagner, can you give a little bit more information on the fishing day, May the 15th at Lake Serene for the children? So, I mean, are there gonna be supplies there for them? You're just teaching them to fish?
We did it last year. Parks and Rec did it last year. They had some people there that were willing to show some of the children how to fish, what to fish, and the kids that caught basically goldfish were thrilled to death. You know, they were.
Yeah, because a lot of fishermen say there's no fish in there.
And it's stocked. I mean, it will be stocked prior to it, so there's going to be fish in there. But yeah, to see the kids with a big smile on their face catching a guppy was really good, you know. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about equipment. I'm not sure if you got to bring your own or if there's going to be some supplied. I thought last year there was some supplied, but
according to the newsletter you all sent out last week.
I saw that. And
that's why I said I'd ask.
Because of what Adam asked and what you're asking, I'll be at Parks and Rec in the morning and find out what that looks like. Okay.
So we can email you come the end of the week.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron.
A lot
Oh, you got you going up front? Oh, changing it up on us.
Oh, good evening, welcome back, everybody, hi. First gonna do some show and tell. I've been talking for the past few months about lithium-ion batteries, lithium-ion batteries, and what can happen. This was my phone. Okay. See the size of that battery? This was in a case. Familiar with cell phone cases, an auto box case, which is probably the most strongest cases that you can get to put a cell phone in. I mean, I don't know why people don't put in the case, but anyway, auto box, one of the strongest phones.
You had that problem too? My iPhone melted out of it because it was a battery
Well,
issue.
let me tell you, I'm laying there and with the dog, and we're watching TV, and all of a sudden we hear a snap. Didn't hear anything, and I started smelling something. And the dog's looking around, I'm looking around, we didn't know where the snap came from. The case. Snap. You know, it was right next to me, I didn't realize it, on a table. This is what happens to the battery. Had I not looked at it and taken it away, Lord knows what would have happened as far as the fire goes, because the battery gets very, very hot. I mean, my replacement's on the way, but I just wanted you to see what actually happened. This thing just blew apart. These batteries are not replaceable by normal service. They normally just trade it in, blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted you to see what happened at the battery. I didn't realize the phone was 9 years old either. I thought it was less than that. I just want you to show you what can happen, and this is what we look out for when they call it the thermal runway that we talk about with lithium-ion batteries, where they just keep going and going and going until something happens. So just a little bit of show and tell there. How my phone exploded. A couple weeks ago, I went to a seminar again, Maryland State Life Safety Seminar, which happened every year in March. Some interesting information that I brought back that I just want to talk about real quick because it's a lot of information. Most of the seminar was about older adults, slips, trips, and falls, things like that happen with your older adults that they don't really notice. And we're dealing with a lot of things from, accidental slip, trips, and falls, and things like that, or like tripping over things like I did when I came up here. But NFPA, there's a lot of this going on that we don't realize. Just to give you some information, in 2017, there were about 120,000 non-fatal falls for elderly. And we're talking 55 and up. I don't know why they picked 55. We discussed this at the seminar, and we can't figure out why they just used 55 and not older, but anyway. Come 2018, 131,000. And now in 2019, which is the last time the data was available, that's why these dates are going back. It takes time to put this data together. This is all over the United States. 140,000 falls. Think of those numbers. Think of our ages here, and I think we're all pretty much in somewhere within that age from 55 on up.
Not yet.
There may be one or two. But here's some data here that I got, and I thought was interesting too. And this is from the trauma centers that actually treat, the people when they're taking it to hospital when you fall or something like that. Just to give you an idea, the percentage of people less than a year old is about 0.8%. Now, I'm not going to go through all the ages, but at 55 to 64, they're about 10% of all the calls we get. When you get up to 65 to 74 years, it jumps to 20% of the calls. 75 to 84, 26%, almost 27%. And 85 years plus, 23.5% of our calls. Now I'm talking about this is nationwide calls for people that they're falling. We get an ambulance call, they have to go pick them up, and they have to go to the trauma center. Just some interesting data there for you to think about. Also, anybody here own a boat? I know there's a couple people here. Do you have CO detectors in there?
Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, anybody that doesn't own a boat, if you haven't heard, as of October of last year, I didn't realize the law went into effect, every marine boat, every marine owner, a boat has to get a marine qualified CO detector, not just a standard household CO detector. The ones for CO for your house are a lot different. It's carbon monoxide. There's a special one that's made for marine use because it doesn't deteriorate as quickly because of the salt air in the water and things like that. And obviously, something brought this on, and it has been. There's been several deaths from people on their boat from CO going off and not knowing it. Whether they were sleeping on the boat, whether they were working on the boat. I think the last one, the one they talked about at the seminar, the guy had it, his boat was winterized, which means it's completely engulfed in plastic for those who don't know. That's up and it's completely sealed, keeps the weather out, not good. And early in the season, he went there to do some work on his boat and just to get it ready for the season. He didn't come home that night. His wife called. Finally, after a few phone calls and people searching, the police went to the boat and found him dead on his boat from CO. Even though his boat was basically completely sealed because it was wintertime, he died from CO. He had the motor running. The CO built up within that tent there. It's colorless, odorless, tasteless. Just remember that. So if you have a boat or something, you're supposed to have a CO detector on your boat at all times. We saw a video on e-scooter fires. Apparently, that's another thing. Again, I've talked about before, and it's throughout the country. It seems to be picking up more and more. That we're having more and more fires, mainly because people are plugging them in, leaving them plugged in overnight, and forget about them. The batteries eventually overheat, very similar to that, but they swell. Of course, they're about twice the size of that, and eventually they explode, and the vehicle catches fire. Here's an interesting other one that was interesting. In Michigan, this past year, and I'm interested because this is where the data comes from. There were 65% increase in firearms deaths from unattended firearms. 65%. Now, Michigan State Council, apparently before they started keeping track of this, was saying, we don't have to worry about firearms. There's no problem with firearms. 65% increase in unattended firearm deaths. That's not going out and shooting somebody. That's shooting yourself, either accidentally or whatever. So, and it can happen anywhere. Another thing we talked about was people, everybody, you live your own way of living. We get a lot of hoarding. We've had several calls this week. We've had to go get people out because of hoarding, and I've talked about that before, where things are just everywhere. We can't get in, can't get you out. We had to do a last week. I think it was Joppa or Bel had to do one where there was a hoarding in place. The lady had fallen out of bed, and her bedroom was upstairs. Of course, they had to get there and get upstairs. They had to take her out to a basket, through a window, because they could not get down the steps with a stretcher or a stair chair.
It was every day.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're there, you know about it. Fortunately, there have been very few fires in our area lately. The fires have all been away from Edgewood, Joppatowne area over the last month or so. But I wanted you to realize that. And when we're talking about falling and abilities like this, remember, when you go to the place, if you've got a neighbor, let's not concentrate on their disability. Okay, and in our training we were taught, don't think of it as a disability. Concentrate on what their abilities are. Now, what can you do? We get a lot of people that get older, they start living by themselves, and they fall in and say, oh, I'm hopeless. No, you're not hopeless. There are things you can do. Figure out what your ability is, whether it be crawling to the door, crawling to the phone to get to the phone. I mean, you don't have to get up and go running out the door, you know. Concentrate on your ability and your neighbor's abilities. If you know somebody that's having a problem, talk to them. Help them out. Now, be the educator yourself. Now, go out there and talk to that person. Concentrate on what you can do and what maybe you can do for them. But again, we don't want to really think of it as a disability. We want to think of it as, sorry, Adam.
That's okay.
Just making sure that, that you concentrate on what their abilities are. Another big thing we talked about was very interesting, that is on the increase this past year, was drowning victims between 1 and 4 years old. 1 and 4. Not necessarily in a 5 foot, 7 foot, 10 foot, 3 foot pool, bathtub at home, sitting around, playing around the bathtub, innocently enough, water can get swallowed, you get caught up in there. I know it's gonna come up.
I'm gonna tackle you in 2 seconds.
These things happen, so you want to be careful. Watch for these children. Don't let them get away from your sight.
Put the phones away, watch the kids.
Exactly. And that's part of the problem. I don't want to say that. Thank you for saying that, but it's very true. We get so caught up with these electronic devices, and we're not paying attention to that 1 to 4-year-old person, because they're going to run around, they're going to get somewhere, and next thing you know, like that, it happens. And we did have one in Bel Air 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm a little bit lost on week, because I had COVID a week ago, so I recovered from COVID, and then Friday I smashed the heck out of my finger. Anyway, where a little girl, 3-year-old, babysitter was home with the girl, mom was at, dad were at work. Apparently, the girl was climbing on a dresser of some sort. Dresser fell over on her. 3 years old. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. It was an accident, obviously, but now everybody's grieving in their heart for a 3-year-old. I mean, and again, we feel when anybody passes away or anything like that. But to me and a lot of our providers, it's worse when it's a child. It's much worse when it's a child. And again, the child was left unattended for, the babysitter said 30 seconds. I don't know, I wasn't there, I'm not an investigator. You'd have to talk to the people that investigated. However long it was, but that dresser fell right on top of her. Unfortunately, they called for aviation, and by the time aviation got there, unfortunately, it was too late. So anyway.
We have a question.
Question.
Sorry, I know that your time's up, but I saw a video recently of a child who passed due to the motorizing of the cars, of like the SUV going down. Is that something that you've been seeing at all?
Yes. Yes, it is. I'd say you really want to do that. Be careful with it, and make sure that when you're watching the cord, and things like that, or like these things. I'll tell you another thing too. These things here. I mean, you have these in your house that are that are complete circles. They're not single things. You have them on your curtains or your shades. Kids get hung up in that, and like that, they're going. Okay, and again, it's an accident, so just be careful out there. I want to keep everybody safe. Now, that's basically what I want to talk about tonight. And the other thing was, with summer coming up, heat stroke in kids in a vehicle, very big problem this nowadays too. The car can heat up within a couple minutes to go from 71 degrees to 110 with no problem at all, and the kids can't breathe. Now, just to tell you what I brought in back here, just to end up with, make a fire escape plan. There's paper back there on how to make a fire escape plan so that you do know how to 2 ways out and how to get out and have a safe meeting place out front. It's getting that time of year again about grilling safety, so I brought back the grilling safety thing. This one's hot off the press. It charged about batteries and lithium-ion batteries. This is very new. Good information back there. And because we're getting close to summertime and travel, babysitting safety. Again, the information is back there. These are all put out by the National Fire Protection Association.
Ron, we have one more question.
Yeah, no?
My question is about fire alarms. I've only been in my house for over 5 years, and started getting chirping sound, stuff like the batteries, right? So I went out and I bought a pack of 2 9-volt batteries, and I got a young fellow that doesn't have any issues to climb up there for me to change the battery for me, right? Well, it wasn't the kind that has batteries in it. You can't take the battery out. So
10-year-old.
I don't know, but it's up there. And he was a young fella, so he didn't have a lot of knowledge. He could have changed the battery, but he didn't know about something that's wired in or whatever.
Hardwired. Okay. When was the house built? Do you know?
1954.
54.
I've only had it for 5 years.
Unless it was done after. Prior to 1974, there pretty much was no hardwired smoke alarms in houses.
I'm sure this has been renovated.
It might have been renovated.
You need to go to her house.
No, you need to go to her house and fix that.
You need to check it out and get in touch with me. We'll take a look at the hardwired. You can get a handyman to do it. But I can take a look at it and let you know what's in it.
Give a card.
Pardon? Yeah, I'll give. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Any other questions?
I'm coming for you.
I know.
All right.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too valuable for tripping, Ron. We can't have that. Come on,
Want me to go really fast?
My phone's in the mail on your phone.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that one.
I'll listen to the-
Good evening. Just to kind of give you guys some sort of updates. As you know, March was Women's History Month, and so most of March spent going to a lot of award ceremonies celebrating women and children as young as the 2nd grade and as old as 87 for all of the community service and all of the things that they've done for the community. There were people from all over Harford County, and they were all honored in various different ways. We had the Supreme Court show up at the community college. That was an awesome experience. They presented a case to our youth. There were high school students that attended, college students that attended. The chief justices were all there presenting a case. And so the kids got to ask questions afterwards and get firsthand knowledge from the judges. During Agricultural Literacy Week, I was honored to read to students in my district at Old Post Road Elementary and Riverside Elementary. The funny part about this story is it was about a woman who trained a dog to identify bacteria in bees, and it became a national training program. She was honored and awarded, and the woman was Debbie's neighbor after all of that. So it was interesting to hear that she was in our community, and she knows Debbie. Then some updates. Traffic safety update for Maryland 7 at Joppa Farm and Alexis Drive. I did hear back from the Maryland State Highway Administration. They conducted both an engineering review and an on-site study to evaluate the traffic conditions and the crash history. When they did, they sent me a review of police reported crash data from January 1, 2022 through December 31st, 2025. They identified a total of 18 crashes during the period, including the one fatal one in 2025. While the annual number of crashes have decreased, the intersection does not meet the state threshold for installing anything as far as a multi-way or all-way stop. However, the officials also noted the traffic volumes on Maryland 7 have increasingly gotten a little bit stronger, especially with the trucks, the tractor-trailer vehicles. And so that was also an important factor in determining how the possibility of trying to control the measures. They did note that there was some faded rumble strips in the westbound lane, identified, plan on replacing all of that. And they will continue to monitor conditions at the intersection. The county executive's office was putting in something else regarding roads, and I talked to them, and the county executive also said, I know there's an issue at that area. So they're gonna look at it through the county budget, and there is a way to be able, the thought process is, there's the surrounding land is owned by the county in those little corners, to potentially do what they did with Bel Air Parkway and do something similar to that where it's not as expensive. And so that's what they're looking into at this point in time. So that's just to keep you updated with that. So it looks like 7 Brew is still on track to be opening, potentially probably around May, hopefully. That was the idea, but we will continue to look at that. And then the trampoline park, they are moving forward. Finally.
The one with the Mars Shopping Center, right?
Yes, they're moving forward. It looks like they may be sometime, I'll say late May, June, depending on the permits and everything else, but they're moving at a slower rate, it seems like. But it'll be great when they get here. I think our youth will love it, and it'll be fun. Update on data centers. The council is currently considering looking at some sort of thoughts on the data center, possibly a moratorium to kind of put a pause. And this pause will allow time for an additional research.
The Maryland State is actually going to be doing a comprehensive analysis. It was proposed in the legislation with Senate Bill 116 and House Bill 270 to require a comprehensive analysis. And the purpose is to look at the economic, environmental, and energy impacts of the data centers development across Maryland. And so under this proposal, there should be an answer prospectively by September 1, 2026. So hopefully we'll have better ideas. In the meantime, this analysis, in speaking to some of the other people who have started, I was advised to reach out to Frederick County, who put a pause. And I spoke to Delegate Kerr, and I spoke to one of the councilmen about what it looks like. And what they found was the problem was really where to put it, so it doesn't, it's not in your backyard. That was one of the things. So they had put 3 pieces of legislation in to make it work, and they picked in old infrastructure areas to be able to put it. But it's still causing a lot of friction down there. And so that's why we're trying to look at it in a overall picture and not rush, even though we know they're coming. It's just, what do they look like, and how does it look for us? I have, since budget hearings are coming next month, or this month, in a couple weeks, I've been meeting with various organizations, our nonprofits. Councilwoman Imhoff and I met with the school system and looked at their budgets, what their wishes are, what they can do, what they can't do without. And so continuously looking at that as well. And then tomorrow night at our council meeting, we are having a special presentation. It is going to be on human trafficking and what that looks like for our state, what that looks like for our community. I've worked with foster care kids for years and the courts for years. And one of the things we saw is the Route 40 corridor, and I worked in Cecil. From Cecil all the way down was a hot spot. 95 is a hot spot, and 270 was a hot spot. And a lot of our foster kids were found in those motels with grown men, and some of them were usually from Pennsylvania, New York, and Delaware in the Cecil area. So it is a hot topic. So listen in, the FBI and the Maryland State Police will be presenting as well. And then finally, it is Child Abuse Prevention Month this month, and I brought pinwheels for your yard. Pinwheels are the national symbol for Child Abuse Prevention Month. I started CASA up in Cecil and have been doing this every year. I have 2 in my front yard. So feel free to take a pinwheel with you so you understand that that is for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Any?
She was first. Yeah, I can go?
Yeah.
Okay. I know
She said you
it's
first.
Okay, so quick question. Going into the summertime, I know by Copperplex, they're gonna do some road work. So I guess it's kind of between you and Rob Wagner. What can we do to avoid the road work for that street that's being developed?
Are you talking about the one that they're doing the construction on now, trying to make that path right now? Because it's been kind of being worked on for a while, and then it seemed like it looks like it's kind of paused. I really can't figure out what's going on with that.
So I'm asking this now because once the season starts, we got 42 weeks of 10,000 people on a weekend. So how can we not avoid the area, but do we have something in place to where we can still operate in that area?
Well, I know the purpose of that extra road was to decrease it all going out the one way. Because I've driven home when it's been like a flood of cars, and then 755 is like, it's a mess. It really is a hot mess. But I don't know when it's going to be done, and I don't know. Did Rob leave? Okay. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be done because every time I drive by that section, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So I will ask.
Okay. Other question? All right, let's go down the road. So we'll start with you.
think mine's about data centers too. I was gonna ask, not to sound dumb, but just for, I don't know, somebody who's not too familiar with data centers, but kind of scared of them, can the county council just deny, like, a request to build a data center? Like, if the data center is like, oh yeah, we want to build a data center, you know, in our county, can't the county council just vote no?
So we can vote. What's going to happen is right now the state is looking to actually enforce, like the state is wanting this. That's the biggest piece right now. But also, how is that going to look?
Yeah.
Right now, like I said about Frederick County, they went forward with it first. They are running into problems because they are seeing a whole lot of construction going on, and it's causing more chaos than not. What the one gentleman said to me today was, the more expensive it is, it'll be more quiet, it'll be more energy efficient. That's what his take was on it. We do have somebody who has proposed a data center to the county. It's just, we're all looking at the big picture and we're telling him, he's trying to explain to us where he wants to put it, etc. We're like I said, there's still questions on what that looks like.
Okay, but the county council doesn't have the power to just say like, no, you're not building a data center in Harford County. But they don't have that. They don't have that power.
Well, we do have that power.
Yeah, I'd like I hope they do that.
It's just a matter of what. It's just a matter of what that looks like.
Okay.
Because the controversy is it can bring in millions of dollars. There's like this controversy on how much money it can bring in, but then there's this controversy of, is it healthy? Is what's it happening? It's run with water. There's like the health versus the finances.
Right.
Is that going to cost you money? Those are the outstanding questions.
Okay, thank you.
We're going down that road, so.
But mine's related to the data center.
It is
All right,
related.
go ahead, we'll come
Go
back. Go ahead. So when you said it's coming, like, to me, this is a huge environmental issue. Why is this not being open to the public, for the public's input? And you said that they already, like, there's a blueprint for where one's going to be.
There's not a blueprint.
Well, not a blueprint, but you said
There's a developer who's trying to create one.
It's my understanding there's several people who have shown interest in having it on their property, but we don't even have the zoning available.
Exactly, there's a lot
So
that's
why
not.
we're talking about putting a pause on it all, so that we can learn from the other counties.
Yes.
Yes, but you all you're more interested in the economic benefits of it than maybe the population doesn't. You know, we're more interested in the environmental, and there's huge water issues with it, there's noise issues.
Exactly.
And then these places are huge. So is this gonna be yet another thing that they do to the southern county? They're gonna put it on the east side of 95 because the rich landowners on the other part of Harford County don't want it on their property. And we're gonna be taking away more trees, more green space, and more pollution on the east side of 95. Unless we all figure out how we can, you know, have a chance to put our voices to it.
And that's why we're talking about the moratorium, so that there's way too many questions. There's way too many issues, and we're not really sure what that looks like. And when I spoke to Frederick, that's why they paused it, because there's way too many questions and there were way too many issues. Even looking at the environmental piece, looking at where they proposed to put it was an abandoned, and it's in my notes, like an abandoned, not steel place, but something aluminum factory that they have over there. That's where, but when they put the legislation in, they made a certain amount of area, how big it is, and all those things. So that's why they put the pause, and then they created legislation after that.
Go ahead. Hang on a minute.
What you was talking about at the council meeting tomorrow night, the human trafficking program of the FBI and MSP, is that going to be, we can see that online
Yeah, it's gonna be at 7:30 during the,
Okay, now, if I can't be in front of my computer at 7:30, will it still be available at a later time?
it should be recorded as usual.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, with that being a special program, I
It's
just
just,
wanted to make sure it's still.
yeah, it's just another a presentation, and part of that was questions from some council members on what that looked like.
Okay.
What human trafficking looked like in our community.
Okay. Go ahead, Dion, and then you.
Just on your issue there, the first thing realize that the zoning, just what you talked about, the zoning has everything to do with it. I mean, this is a business, okay? And you can't put a business in a residential area. So it's got to be zoned for that. And the council has got to be leery because the council can't attack one single business. You know, they can make certain requirements, you know, that they have to stand for, but all the businesses would have to affect all businesses. They just can't gear themselves and say, well, we're not gonna let them in here for what X, Y reason. You can't do it, they're a business. And if they're going to try to put a business in like a shopping center or something zoned for it, they can do it. Now, there's requirements, you know, that the council does have authority to put on requirements, zoning would be able add to it, some of the requirements. So they could make it difficult for them, but they can't deny it. That's the problem.
Maya? Okay, couple quick questions. With the issues with the 7 Brew, we haven't seen anything breaking ground, so are they at a point where they're nearing changing the timeline? Because when we had that meeting, they said May or spring, but there's nothing going on there. And then also, what do you advise us as community members in this room do? Should we use Mr. Peters' contact information, because now you have the grocery outlets in Maryland closing? So it's like, okay, you're gonna bring the 7 Brew, but now you're gonna have a hole there at that shopping center.
Our grocery outlet's not on the list.
I was gonna say, our grocery outlet's not closing.
They had in one paper that one is closed.
No, I saw the list on one too, that one.
Yeah, that wasn't on
Oh,
there.
that's
Yeah.
thank goodness.
And about the 7 Brew, remember when he came and talked there, it's pretty much a prefab building, so when they come, they're just gonna drop it down. It's not gonna take much, but he was gonna add some like greenery to make it look nice. and aesthetically pleasing, as I usually say. But that's why it shouldn't take too long once they flop it down.
Adam, have a question?
For your conversation with State Highway about Route 7 and Alexis Drive, one of my favorite things that Maryland had when I moved here was the flashing yellow arrow over the roadway. And we had one at Sheets to be able to get into Joppatowne and not have to wait 5 minutes for that light to change for no reason. And they took that away because there were 19 accidents at that intersection over 3 years, none of them, to my knowledge, fatal. So if they're willing to take the best thing that Maryland has going in transit, traffic, away for 19 accidents in 3 years, I can't imagine that they should be allowed, or, that they would be okay with 18 accidents in 3 years at that intersection doing absolutely nothing about it. So just for your benefit to take to them.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I found it, the interesting part is each accident, if you want me to share it, I'll share it. It says which angle happened of the turns and how it was going. So I was trying to figure out which ones were coming from the Joppa farm, because I think that's the most odd angled part to see, because you got to keep inching out to figure out if anyone's coming. So.
Okay, thank you, Nolanda.
Okay,
Okay, hurry up. Nolanda, you have one.
I was gonna walk it in.
I just want to give you information. The Abington Council Thursday night, we're having a speaker, Glenn Gillis, who's from P&Z, who's going to supposedly talk about the data centers. And so I don't know how much, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know how much information he's going to be able to give, because a lot of this is under the table. A lot of it's hidden, but we're going to be at the Abington Fire Company tomorrow night, 6:30.
And he's with P3, so he is very environmental. He's all about the environment.
Nolanda, hang on for a second. The gentleman in the back had a question.
Right, I had a quick question concerning
at Gabe's, department store, at the exit, there's a pothole now, it's like a tub hole. Who's responsible? Is that management or county? Right down the street at Gabe's, right by Checkers. The exit is like a big pothole.
I was in my.
Yeah, it's a sinkhole, really.
Yeah, I mean.
Usually what I do is like fix the thing and then I
Yeah,
send
that's
it
what I was
to
trying to
see
do.
if
I know it's neither the management, but I can't leave that in there.
Alright, hey guys, sorry I'm a little bit late. I had several meetings tonight. First I want to start off with a shout out because on March 27th we were able to attend Dr. Melissa's grand opening at her business, which is lovely. So if you get a chance, please go check it out. I'm sure some of you guys have seen on the news, the Brandon Shores Mitigation Project got an update from the PSC case, 9748. They determined that BGE could proceed with their plans with certain stipulations in place. With that being said, we are expecting several people opposed to the Brandon Shores Mitigation project to come and do public comment tomorrow. So if it's something of interest to you, please note that people are on it. Councilmember David Marks from Baltimore County has already put forward a letter just this afternoon, I believe. I've already been in contact with several of the people opposed to it, so likely the council is also going to be pushing out something opposed to it. They have until April 21st to appeal. Then tomorrow, obviously, we are having Maryland State Police and FBI coming out tomorrow to talk about human trafficking. This is the group that I've gone out on several occasions over the years. I asked them to specifically talk about what does human trafficking actually look like. It's not people driving by in white vans and kidnapping you off the street. Most of these traffickers have developed a trusting relationship or know the person that they traffic. We also wanted to be very clear that while it's not running rampant in Harford County, it does happen here. And I think I've shared before, I was just out with them last fall when we recovered a 16-year-old from Harford County who was being trafficked by, one trafficker was arrested in Pennsylvania and one was in Indiana. She was in the foster care system. She had run away from her group home. After about a month, people stopped looking for her. And she was found in Towson in a hotel room about 4 months later. They are coming. It's the Child Recovery Unit for Maryland State Police. They're coming to speak, and they have a partnership with the FBI. So they'll be able to talk. These are the guys who train our Harford County Sheriff's officers on human trafficking. They can talk a little bit about individualized trafficking situations, as well as we've obviously been made aware of the massage parlors that we've seen. So they'll probably be talking a little bit about that. We had a massage parlor sting that went south the day before Thanksgiving about 2.5 years ago. And we learned a lot from that sting. We learned a lot of things that we could do better. Ironically, at the time, several of my staff members actually responded out to that scene. So we learned a lot in that situation. These are the officers that came in to retrain our Harford County Sheriff's officers to make sure that we don't have, we actually have a case afterwards, we'll just say that. So then upcoming events, on Saturday the 11th from 8:30 to 1 p.m. at Bel Air High School, we are having the Empowered Planning Your Journey to Adulthood. This is for teens and young adults with individualized education plans, so IEPs or 504 plans, and their families, so students who have special education needs and they're getting ready to transition into adulthood. It's a really great community resource for them. Also, April 11th is also the Bel Air Farmers Market Open Day, which is one of my favorites. And then on Sunday, April 19th, Harford Glen is hosting a spring celebration from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., which will include bird hikes, a plant sale, and lots of eco-friendly activities. Any questions for me?
I just have one about the human trafficking.
Yeah. Presentation?
Coming on tomorrow.
Yes.
Will they have any resources available? What type of presentation are they going to actually do?
So it's primarily educational. In a weird turn of events, I have been a social worker that's gone out with them with the resources. So if there are specific resources that you need, I'll take my county council hat off, I'll put my social worker hat on, and I will be happy to help you. So whatever resources are needed, please let me know. Yeah.
Compared to information you gave us, compared to the article that was in the Sun papers.
Yeah.
That certainly was much more damaging to me than what you're telling us. The article in the paper said there was 9 hotels involved, sex trafficking from Havre de Grace to Aberdeen to Edgewood, and all the hotels. 9 different hotels were cited, and that the high-level people who run these hotels have put up hundreds of millions of dollars trying to squash this whole thing. And that was the article. I mean, it wasn't like a simple, you know.
So I'd actually be really curious. I started to read the article, but I was really questioning a lot of their resources, their who gave them that information. Am I familiar?
I wouldn't argue that with the Sun paper.
Yeah, even I'm very familiar with certain things that we have had. Hell, I've gone to a lot of these hotels on stings. Do I think it's an organized crime amongst major hotel chains? No, I don't. Do I think it is organized, more organized than it should be? Yeah, I do. But do I think it has to do with hotel management and ownership? No. But do I think some people who work at the hotels are fully aware of what is happening and are not reporting it and have some type of buy-in? 1,000%. But do I think it's a big conspiracy? No. Do I think it's a problem we need to address? Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. For our communities, is there something that, and I'll be listening tomorrow afternoon, but are there resources that we should be taking to our communities to share and make them aware? We know that we have sex offenders that are in our community, so this may be separate from that. It could be all together. We don't know. And how do we, yes, it's concerning. Yes, we want to hear about it, but is there something that maybe parents should be more heightened about? And this may happen, so, keep some of these things in mind. So what are some resources or things that we should be sharing with our communities?
So in my experience of working with trafficking survivors, there's largely 2 populations that we need to focus on. One is teenagers, and not just 17, 18-year-olds, they have independence. We're talking about 12, 13-year-olds. There's a book that is very debated in advocacy, and it's actually called Pimpology. If you buy it, please buy it secondhand. Do not give this author any more money. But he basically talks about how it wasn't hard for him to scope out teenagers who didn't have a stable home life, because he would just go to the mall in the middle of a school day. And if there was any teenagers who were walking around and they weren't being supervised, he already knew that there was a couple of check boxes that he could check off and make them identify that they were more vulnerable than others. So those are the teenagers. They're not out causing crimes, causing mischief. It's the ones who just kind of slide under the radar. It's the ones who have low self-esteem, getting them engaged in activities, getting them a community. We talk about building a village. If there's more people in their village and more eyes on them, the likelihood of them having something suspicious going on decreases significantly. The other population that I have really struggled with, but is reality, are low cognitive functioning adults. And I say that because the majority of the traffickers were their caregivers. And so again, build the village. Ask questions. If these look funny, challenge it. Don't talk. That's why we wanted to talk about it. It's such a taboo subject. Don't let it be. Call it out. The young lady who we got from its house and hotel was 15 when she ran, and she had started a relationship with like a 20-something-year-old. And they just thought, oh, well, she's a troubled kid, a few years from now it won't matter. It mattered. It mattered a lot. He didn't even traffic her. She ran away to him. He realized he could get in a lot of trouble. kicked her to the curb. She couldn't go back, was walking down the street. Pimpology again. Someone realized, hey, there's a school-age girl walking down the street unattended. A couple of check boxes. Ended up becoming, there's different types of traffickers. And we don't really use the term pimp anymore. But there's a few different types of traffickers, and one is called a boyfriend pimp. And that's where you basically seem like you're in an intimate relationship and you're doing your boyfriend a favor by doing this work. And then one thing leads to another and your life is on the line. So call it out for what it is. Ask questions. You know, there shouldn't be anybody who goes by just a nickname. Know their full legal name. Get in their business. That's the best thing you can do.
One more question.
Yes.
And follow up to that and to what Carmen just said, I am going to reach out to you because when those two young ladies in Aberdeen went missing, and I do not know the whole story.
Yeah.
However, there are individual leaders out here and parents that are interested in trying to do some type of a coalition, but they did not know how to go about forming it. And so I just text them to let them know to be there tomorrow night.
Please.
So we can kind of come up with an idea and a plan together, because this is really heart-wrenching.
I got a couple of community members I'd love to plug on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Alice.
No problem, thank you guys.
Is there anybody here from Andre's office? Anybody here, I know this isn't out, from Lauren Arrington's office? Yeah, Pam, what do you have?
Yes, I have show and tell. Thank you for the opportunity. So, at first, I just want to do a shout out. Our business did register online, completed our renewal, and within 4 business days, we got our mailing with the little sticker and stuff. So thank you for that convenience.
You're welcome.
Then I also wanted to talk about traffic update. I know the state highway completed the engineering study and it's already been approved, but at some point in 2026, 27, we will get the pedestrian walkway and signal at Hanson and 24. That's at the other end. They've approved that area, so. Yeah, because we said it's the same stretch of road that's from 24 and 755. It's just down the other way and the same amount of accidents. And then the project for the new sidewalk at 755 between Taco Bell on 40 and Route 24, like that sidewalk project has been approved. It's just waiting for funding. It's supposed to be a 50-50 split between state and county. So that's a desperately needed stretch of quarter-mile of sidewalk that it completed the engineering and stuff. So I come bearing some announcements. So we had our first community cleanup bulk trash event at San Pablo Drive last on the 25th. And thanks to many people here that came out to help us, and that was a success. 3 dumpsters, 3 50-yard dumpsters worth of bulk trash was eliminated from, other areas. And then we had over 1,800 pounds of scrap metal that was recycled by our recycler. And then we had about a dozen bikes that were repurposed because they were in pretty decent shape. Jeff took it to the Boys and Girls Club because they were running a campaign to get some gently used or new bikes donated for kids. So that was a big success.
And a hoverboard.
Okay, so follow our page. We have a calendar. We have 5 more locations. It's open to the public. It doesn't cost anything. And the crew from DPW and MES is fantastic. So I heard that the Farmers Market in Bel Air is opening Saturday, but if you missed that, come to the Edgewood Farmers Market. That's on our first Sunday, except it is the second Sunday due to Easter. So we will have it on the first Sunday of each month, right at post 17. And we have 18 vendors signed up. We're going to be featuring Laura's Produce and then the Hickory Chance Beef this year. So, and then a bunch of local vendors. So it's 8:30 to noon, and so Sunday.
You're gonna have coupons like you did last year?
We're working on that, so I can't promise that yet, but I know if you come to the market, I have Hello Harford swag For the first few, I have it while supplies last, but it bundles up into this tiny little ball right here, okay? So I'll show you how to do that for a nominal fee. So you do have these to give out, so the reusable bag. And then the other big event I want to talk about that's coming up around the corner, another free community event, May 16th and 17th at Flying Point Park. We're going to host a power boat race, and it's going to be an exciting 12 legs of race. We'll have a live band in between. We'll have food trucks. We're going to have adult beverage, and then
Sponsorships available.
Sponsorships are still available, and the important thing is all spectator parking will be off-site at Deerfield Elementary and Edgewood Middle, and we'll have a shuttle that will run continuously during the hours. Okay, so it's a free event for the community.
So we can't vote that at all? We can't vote that at all?
No, it's going to be strictly for the, the people working the event. So, all right, that's all I have for you today. Yes.
I remember last month that you changed the May 2nd one to April 25th. Is that still accurate?
Yes, because the DPW had a conflict, so the calendar has the updated April 25th. That's going to be the cleanup at Harford Square, open to the public. And let's see if we can do better. Last year we had, I think, 4 dumpsters. The first year was 7. And so we'll just keep that stuff out of our neighborhood streets and woods. Yes,
Now, are they gonna be down in the actual park for the food trucks and the picnic areas all down there?
No, the
Or
food trucks will
restaurant?
be right by the bathroom facilities, on the hard surface. So they'll be right there.
But it won't be inside the park?
It's inside the park.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So that's why we can't have parking inside the park. It's going
Right.
to be spectator parking at Deerfield and Edgewood Middle School. And then the shuttle will just run people back and forth the whole time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Piggyback ride.
Okay, what I'd like to do before we
You're
get.
going, I'll give you a piggyback ride.
Before we get comments from the council, I know that we have a lot, we're gonna do what we did last month, there are a lot of candidates here tonight. What I'm gonna ask you to do is to stand up, just say your name and what you're running for. We don't do anything political, it is just to introduce yourself, and if anybody wants to talk to you after the meeting, that's fine, but, so we'll start on this side of the room. Any candidates on this side of the room, stand up, please.
Okay.
Bill Temick,
Okay,
Harford County Central Committee.
we'll start with this row, just your name and what you're running for. Right here, so, ladies, just, we're starting in front, right here, yeah.
Pamela Carter, Democratic Central Committee.
Okay,
Felicia Hopkins, Democratic Central Committee.
okay.
Raj Goyle, running for the Maryland State Senate for District 34.
Tony G, running for County Council President.
Big improvement.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, Tawanda Strickland Lucas, I'm running for the Democratic Central Committee as well as the Register of Wills.
Okay.
This one.
Anybody else on this?
Right
I've been helping out, so it's fine. Danny Paez, District A, Board of Education.
And Bill, for the stream, can you just, that's Bill.
Bill Temick, Harford County Central.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay. Are we done on that side? We'll come to this side of the room, candidate.
Oh.
All right.
Maybe I should have sat over there.
I thought we'd be done by 9 o'clock. We'll start over here.
Hi, Hunter Baker, running for County Council, District E.
Good evening, my name is Terrence Rogers and I'm running for sheriff.
Jeff Beck, County Council, District A.
Elliot Herniker, State Delegate, District 34A.
Michelle Karczeski, Clerk of Court.
Noah Gentry, Democratic Central Committee.
John Guthrie, Council District A.
Yolanda Robert, Council District A.
Russell English, Council District B.
Keith Trump, running for sheriff.
Allison Imhoff, Harford County Council, District B.
Excellent. So if anybody, wants to speak to them after the meeting, that's fine. We don't do anything political here. We'd like to see their faces so you know who they are. Before we get to, anybody from the council, anybody else from the community have an issue or announcement?
Just one.
Yeah. Hang on a minute, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no,
Oh, go ahead.
Just one, May 2nd, the flotilla for the gunpowder. We need it because it looks like we've almost beaten them back, especially on Days Cove, to 1 year deadline. So I want to close that deal.
Gotcha.
Real quick, for the, I know it might be hard now and maybe you might have to pick it back up, but May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't know if you can get a hold of perhaps Tracy Kelly or someone at the Harford County Mental Health Core Service Agency for our meeting next month, but I think it's important. I'm concerned about our businesses. If it wasn't for the fact that I sit in here every month and Captain McDougal is as wonderful as he is and the officers come through the Wawa, it would have been a potentially deadly scene there last week because someone was ODing in the bathroom. Bad enough the officers had already come out of the store. When they came running out, the officer was standing on the sidewalk talking to me. And, you know, pre-COVID in the community, health department was going around monthly giving out the Narcan. But now, I mean,
I'll see if I can get somebody.
they drugged out, they could have stabbed one of those employees or something when they came to.
We'll see what we can do about doing that for the May meeting, because we also have, we're trying to get, Yolanda's also trying to get, the representative from BG&E, so it's another issue we'd like to discuss. Dion?
I'm just gonna bring up, I was over at the marina checking on my boat, and I talked to Chris about the marina, what might be open this coming spring. He says, okay, that they have signed a 10-year contract with the contractor who used to run the marina restaurant down Frogmar Creek, what is it down, that, I forgot the name of that restaurant, but they shut it, it's closed down. He ran that for years. They said they signed a 10-year contract with him. He's gonna run all the rest of the marina, not the marina part, but the bar, the stage, get the music, the pool. The pool may not be open, but it's still got some legalities with the pool. But they expect by Labor Day to be operational like they were last year with the bar and the bathrooms and the stage and music by Memorial.
Does he have the issues with the marina itself restored so that he can open, at least have the marina up and running?
Marina's gonna be up and running. He also, I'm glad you mentioned that part, because he said that they're installing above ground gas tanks, which is something I recommended to them a year ago. Stay away from the underground tanks because of the cost.
They had problems with those.
So they said they're gonna install above ground gas tanks. So they won't have gas.
And also you have our sign-in sheet, is that in front of you?
Is that?
Yes, it is.
Is that our sign-in sheet? Remember to give it to us before I leave.
The sign-in.
Oh,
The sign-in.
oh.
Go down there and grab it, will you?
Yeah, I got a question, because this lady was very interested in that data center, and I didn't hear what Ron had said. There was going to be a meeting at Company 4
Yeah,
tomorrow night?
Avenue Fire Company House one on Abington Road, 3306, Abington Road, starts at 6:30 Thursday night, the Abington path. Our speaker, Glenn Gillis.
Glenn Gillis?
Gillis, I think like Toby Gillis, Glenn.
Okay, and he's from that lady?
He's from P&Z and P3, I think it is.
Yeah, he's with P3 and,
Okay.
he's actually on the environmental committee for Maryland. They asked for some representatives, and I believe that he probably does know a lot, more than that, being on that committee.
Okay, because I'm going to make sure
They're coming,
she's
they
aware.
drive around the back, or coming in the basement in the hall.
I'm sorry?
You come around to the hall, to the back of the building, go to the front.
Okay, thank you.
Was it, yeah, go ahead.
I'll make it quick. I have a few updates out of Delegate Johnson.
How about stand up, yeah, okay, stand up, take it.
I have a few updates out of Delegate Andre Johnson's office, who is running again. So HB 322 the National Guard tuition assistance, which expands assistance for active members of the National Guard for Maryland. So that passed. HB 1532, utility relief, when Councilwoman Robert was mentioning that about PGE. That bipartisan legislation actually passed the House 108 to 25. The key priorities are to protect Maryland ratepayers, and the goal is to make electric bills more affordable by at least $150 annually. And then the summary of the audit legislation package, that also passed, and so the goal is to provide an annual report, including recommendations and the number of years repeated. So anything that's unresolved, that information is made public to all of you.
Thank you. Okay, Adam?
Okay. All right, thanks. It's nice to have help. All right. Town Trivia resumes this week, Sundays at Town Grill and Pub, 6 o'clock. If you would like to come. I don't foresee any cancellations for a while. We got through Easter and all that stuff. The Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation has a general meeting on April 20th at 6 p.m. That's at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. We have various committees, zoning, planning, roads, schools, parks, things like that. One of our big projects that we're working on right now is we're attempting to try to get the county to take some of the land from the Gunpowder State Park and make that into a Harford County Park. So that's one of the things that we discuss a lot. And then one other thing which I'll come up with after this announcement. Joppatowne Christian Church, my church, is having a common ground worship service where we go to you. But rather than like show up in your bedroom, we're going to go to Town Grill and have our service there. And if you would like to join us, then you can. We won't come to you that much. That's going to be on April 26th at 10:15. We're not meeting in our church building that day. We're meeting there, and if it rains, then we're going to meet on May 3rd. Okay, the other thing that the Joppa Development Heritage Corporation is focusing on is the election forums that we run. Now, we are the Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation, so generally we do focus on Joppatowne issues. However, Edgewood issues are Joppatowne issues. So, a couple asks. First of all, Steve up here is, he's basically been almost running this thing on his own. He's built a beautiful website where people can go and submit questions that you would like to ask different candidates. So if you have an interest in a specific race, you want a candidate to have something, we're going to collect questions, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of filter out and see what the community at large wants. We only have time for 3 questions. Each person gets 2.5 minutes per question, and then they get another 2.5 minutes to talk about an issue of their choosing, so you can see what their priorities are. We're going to be doing that forum. It's going to be, we're going to have 2 separate days. Right now, Democrats, good job. You guys are all on the same page. I think the Republicans, it's going to be May 18th. I think. Monday, May 18th. I think we've gotten enough people to join in to do that. So May 18th for the Republicans at 6 o'clock. May 19th for the Democrats the next night at 6 o'clock. That's also Steve's birthday. He's going to do that on his birthday. So, so the 18th is the Republicans, the 19th is the Democrats. Anybody's welcome to all. You can, even if you're cross party, you want to see who's coming up the general election pipeline, feel free to come. Candidates, if you are here, make sure that Steve has your information, because he's also on the website putting all different social media accounts and things like that, so people can get to one place for your campaign information, to get to know you, that kind of thing. So he's doing that. The website itself is it's forum.joppadhc.org. So that's for Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation, forum.joppadhc.org. And I will say that the event on the 18th and 19th is only for competitive races in the primary. So, for example, I'm just looking over here, Jeff Beck and Terrence, they've already made it through the general because they're running unopposed right now for that. And we are only holding specific races right now. It's primarily legislative based, and then the county executive. So we can try to get other things in. I did add in District B. So we will have the District B council race, but it is primarily District A candidates or countywide or state candidates up in Bel Air right now. In the fall, we're hoping to have an election forum where we'll have a night for Bel Air-based candidates and a forum for Annapolis-based candidates as we get through. Anybody's welcome to come, and if you are a candidate and you're not there, we'll still introduce you so people can kind of see you, but there won't be an opportunity for you to answer those questions. If you are a candidate and you would like to be a part of it, but the 18th doesn't work for you, or if you're a Republican, the 19th doesn't work for you if you're a Democrat, you should have emails from me in your inbox, but if you can't be there those nights, Steve and I will meet with you beforehand and we'll ask you the questions and then we'll put it up on the live stream. Somebody who's not in the room may not even be able to figure out that you're not there. That's kind of what we're going for. So the event will be live streamed. It will be recorded because it's 2026 and why is this a problem still? And in that note, I have two people up here who are learning how to do this live stream. I'm very grateful for both of you. Because this kind of stuff is important. You know, Jansen, you had mentioned about how Michelle's taking the county, or the clerk of the court and moving it forward. I want to keep trying to do that. I cannot wait that when my wife and I in 2 months are on the beach, digging our toes in the sand, that I'm going to be able to get up here and I'm going to watch Ron Solid tell me not to set the beach on fire. So, thank you for both of you for doing that. Are there any questions for me?
Cool. Good job. Jansen?
I just want to thank Adam for what he's doing. I think that's
It's very important, and it's actually a state law, Public Information Act, about meetings.
Yeah, Friends of Harford is having their annual meeting on April 19th from 1 to 3. And we're focusing mainly on the environment. We have Frank Marsden, who is starting a Harford Nature Collaborative, where all the environmental groups are going to be like under one umbrella, he thinks. And then we have Mad About Mud is coming, Jack Woodsett, so you guys ought to be interested in that. And we have dessert. I'm making Texas sheet cake. Sheet cake. Oh, that's so rich. Oh, it's.
They had a cow pie.
Oh.
I just thought it was gonna be big, but you're saying it's rich.
Oh. I use a pound of butter.
Nice.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is a nice turnout, and thank all the candidates for coming and introducing themselves. And I want to thank Melissa for taking the minutes because we'll understand our secretary, I guess, okay, so had gallbladder surgery, so that's why it's not here tonight.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay. Thank you all. So I have officially opened my spot as Ms. Allison has stated, and I am 2809 Karczeski Highway, Suite F. So if you want to come by and we can do some amazing things in that space to better our community, I could not be more proud of the location and how it actually holds a lot of people from the community with concerns. So resources hub, all kinds of things, come on out. And I'm a holistic health practitioner if you need services.
All right.
Let's go one out. Sorry about that. Just some sadness if you hadn't heard. Huh? If you hadn't.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. If you hadn't heard, we used to have the challenge program over here at APG, run by the National Guard of Maryland. One of the first states to actually do the challenge program, and was very successful. Unfortunately, it is now, as of last month, been completely disbanded. They're no longer operating. And what the challenge program was for at-risk youth to finish their education, get their GED, get their driver's license, to be something in the community. They had a chance to get a job interview, teach them how to interview, clothing, dress, things like that. Unfortunately, it is no longer happening, which is a sad time for this area because unfortunately we've had some problems, but they had some problems over there which I can't discuss. It's still in litigation. But the program is no longer for at-risk youth for our county. They put approximately 60 to 70 recruits through that every single cycle. It's 2 cycles a year. So that is not closed. I just wanna make you aware of that. And contact the National Guard Command staff if you think it's something we really need and wanna really get through with it, you know, put the pressure on them to bring it back. That's all, thank you.
Was that the academy over there to mentor?
Yes.
Cause I mentioned a girl that got through it.
Yeah, that was it. Coming from the Harford.
Alright,
National Guard
nothing
Command.
else, the meeting is adjourned.
Oh, all candidates, if y'all wanna get out and really meet people, don't forget about the Wonder Open House this Thursday. It's a great chance for you to connect with a lot of constituents.
You looking to join the sheriff's department?
No.
It's like,
We've got a friend who's been out of work for 3 years,
All
and
concerns.
she's